Sorry it's taken so long for me to do a recap. I actually can't believe it. And hold on, where's my medal? Oh, sorry, it's I'm using it as a prop. Here is the medal. Focus on this. Is that focused? Yeah, there you go. And it actually opens up like a book. Look at that. I thought it was gonna come out like a tin foil or something like that, like a tin foil medal. So I'm actually pretty happy with this medal. Right, so I'm going to talk about the marathon that I ran, 2:55:27, which it's an unofficial European record for someone with CF, cystic fibrosis, that is. The girl I ran it with, Breda O'Connor is her name. She ran 2:59:56. So I've been coaching Breda for the last year and a half, and her first marathon was 4 hours and 27 minutes. Like, that is crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the race. Now, first of all, this is unbelievable. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what cystic fibrosis is, it's basically an overproduction of mucus, but it's also an overproduction, or I don't retain salt. So I'm not sponsored by these, by the way. This is just an unbelievable product. It's a hypertonic drink, which means that it's what do they call it? Cold microfiltered seawater. And I'll talk about how many gels that I took on board as well. Race nutrition, actually, while I'm on it. For 3 hours, for a 3-hour run or 3-hour exercise, you'll need between 60 and 90 grams of carbohydrates. That's 23 grams of carbohydrates per sachet, which is 40 grams. And this has caffeine in it, and I'll get into caffeine now in a sec. I took a gel every 20 minutes. So, given what I said, you need 60 to 90 grams of carbohydrates per hour of you exercising. So, 3 of these is 69 grams of carbohydrates. So 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 180, 140, 2 hours, so on and so forth. You might think it's obsessive, but I didn't hit a wall at all. The two reasons why people hit walls are, one, they go off too fast, and two, they don't feel correctly. Okay, so I used the high five. I've no problem with them, they're grand. Caffeine wise, I took my first caffeine at 40 minutes, which the reason behind that is caffeine takes about 35 to 40 minutes to get into your system. So if I took it at 40 minutes, then it would start to kick in at 120. My second gel then, my second caffeinated gel was at 2 hours, so it kicked in at 240. Was it 2 hours? No, sorry, it wasn't. It was 1 hour 40. So 1 hour 40, then you add on 40 minutes, which is 2 hours 20, and that took me over the line then. So yeah, high five gels, 2 caffeinated ones, and then one every 20 minutes. And then this one, Totem Sport. This is an Irish company as far as I'm aware. I think it's Irish. So it basically contains 78 electrolytes, and it's cold microfiltered seawater. So that's what it looks like there. 20 mils of liquid, so like that much. So I wouldn't recommend how many I take unless you have cystic fibrosis. I took 4. So I took 1 at the start, and then I took 3 while I was actually exercising, and they were all done within 20 miles, because there's no point in you taking it at 22 because like your race is nearly over. So yeah, these two are the only things that I took. I did have jelly babies in a little plastic lunch bag, but I didn't need them. Usually on my runs I got really hungry, but I didn't need them. So that's race nutrition. What did I have for breakfast? I had porridge, and then I had 2 slices of toast with honey. Before I started, I had a few jelly babies and a gel. Reason why I took a gel on the start line was because I have hypoglycemia as well as CF, so it means my blood sugars drop too quickly. And I probably will do a video on fat as a fuel source and fat adapted, but basically if you don't run, it only works up to 60% of your VO2 max, which that's not marathon pace, that's 100-mile pace or something. Basically fat as a fuel for a marathon isn't the best fuel source. Comment below if you disagree, and I'm sure there will be people who disagree. So go into my Strava, which is just Evan Scully, and you can see, so the monkey's off my back, so let's click in to it. Right, the monkey is off my back, which it actually is, because all I thought about was 3 hours. So 2:57, 6:42 per mile average, and then for burrito running 2:59.56. Unbelievable, but sure, I knew she'd do it. Right, so the course basically, that was it there. So it was fairly flat, to be honest with you. My heart rate basically stayed fairly even throughout, and cadence, I don't look at that, so forget about that. Okay, so my first mile, 7:01. I was there thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this feels like 6 minutes. 7 minutes. I just took it nice and handy. It was basically a warm-up. And then I just started to get stuck into 650s then. 6:52 is 3 hour exactly, so I knew I had to average under 6:52. 6:53, blah blah blah. You don't really need to know. Mile six, there was a wind for all that blue stretch there. Even though, it didn't feel too bad. But I knew I had to pass that 3 times, I think. Mile 8 is when, that is uphill, but it's pretty much not really uphill because it's only 8 feet elevation gain. 6:47. I felt grand, but I did start to pick it up. I knew, where was it? Mile 10 is when I was like, Jesus, I actually feel good. But you should feel good in your marathon at mile 10. If you don't feel good, then it's not your marathon pace, or else you just need to stop because something is wrong. So I wonder, I went through halfway in, where is it now? 27.1. Look at that, 1:29.55. That's 10 seconds under 3 hour pace for the whole thing. If I tried to do that again, I wouldn't be able to. It was at mile 15, that's when I knew how good I felt. I'm really surprised when I got to 15 that I still felt I felt good. I felt like I was warmed up and ready to go. I kept on thinking to myself, at mile 18 I'm going to hit a wall, and I didn't. Then I thought, mile 20 I'm going to hit a wall, and I didn't. Then I thought, mile 22. I don't know why I thought you hit a wall on even numbers. But anyway, mile 20 here, I knew all I had was 6 miles or 6.2 miles left, and I knew how good I felt. It was going to have to be really bad for me not to be able to finish at that pace. But I still felt in my mind that I was I'm actually going to hit a wall here. This can't be as comfortable as what it is. So mile 22, I knew I only had 4 miles left. Now the reason why I felt that I knew I had it done is, see this Johnstown loop here? So this loop here is one of the most popular routes in Navan, and it's 4.3 miles. I think it's 4.3 miles. Anyway, I knew all I had to do was a lap of Johnstown to finish. So yeah, I collected my gel, my last water station, or my last Yaz and Owen were here. Owen is Breeda's husband. So Yaz and Owen were here, and I knew I think I got my last gel off them here, and I knew. So what mile was that? Just before 23, I was like, right, take the gel. It's plain sailing all the way. When I got to mile 24, I stopped looking at my watch, because it's just like, I know that I'm under 650 pace here. So I just kept on going and going and going. So I think my last 5k in 18 minutes or something like that. I'm sure someone can work that out for me. But yeah, 6:27, 6:15 and 6:07. Now look, it says that I was going downhill from like 24 onwards, but like, I see this where the motorway here, there's a bridge that you have to climb up to get over that. There is a big downhill here, but then you're climbing, dipping until you get into this retail park here. So yeah, I just did a loop to finish. But yeah, it like, anybody in Navan area or Bohermeen will know that the road back into Navan isn't as what it seems here. But sure, haters will hate. See, look, you can see there's a big downhill there, and then you're kind of climbing, then a downhill, and then that hill there is actually hard. Then you're going down, and then you're climbing again. So it's not like I was just going like all the way down. It's hard to say what I would actually do in a race. I was probably more nervous for this than I was for a race, to be honest with you. I was actually fairly nervous. So it's hard for me to say I'd run 250, 245, 240. I have no idea, to be honest with you. But I'd never hit a wall, and I felt really good. Like, it was my quickest marathon, but it was my easiest marathon, if that makes sense. Maybe because nothing happened. My last two marathons, I tore my Achilles 3 weeks before the marathon, and still did the marathon. It wasn't a bad tear, but it was still a tear. And then my first marathon, I didn't take enough salt, so I learned from my mistakes. I didn't take enough salt and went into cramp at mile 23, which, like, it was horrible. I was on course for 2:44 up until that hill at the UCD flyover, if you know where that is. So yeah, I'm actually ridiculously happy with it. Like, I was just sitting there going, I'm now under 3 hours. And I'm actually more happier for Breeda to run under 3 hours than I am for my 2:55. I suppose running in that snow, starting the 24 miler at -6, like, my beard froze over. There was frost on my beard. I think I have a picture on my Instagram, and it was just icicles on my beard, and my gel was like nearly frozen as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next marathon, or next goal that I have. But I think if there's anybody who has any questions about what my training or Breeda's training, because I think her rise and her improvement is way better than mine. So I think if you have any questions about what sort of sessions, or how did I approach giving her sessions or long runs, I think, yeah, fire ahead, ask me the questions below. I hope you like this series. I'm going to do a few more. My focus now is basically 5k and 3k-ish maybe, and yeah, then I'll build up to a 10k or something like that. But yeah, any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and share, and do whatever you need to do, please and thank you. And follow me on Instagram and Strava. Alright, thanks very much. Talk to you later. Bye bye.